Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another album of the week. This, of course, is episode number 64. So, this week's album spotlight, which was definitely what was announced on my very last video, which was from yesterday, is the debut and only full-length album from Asterix. And of course, it's self-titled and was released back in 1970, though don't know what date, month, or day, that it was released on, but it was released back in 1970 through the labels such as Decca and even Telefunken, through other, apparently according to Discogs in Mexico, which is quite odd that it would actually that a German label would press something over in Mexico, yet it didn't make it here in the U.S. for some reason. But it was also also in Venezuela, was released through London Records. There's your little details there. Now, Asterix. Even though I said this was the only record that Asterix released, which is for many other reasons, because of after this album, like I've also briefly talked about in my video on the Krautrock box set that I had showed, or the 5 CD set that was released yesterday. They would switchly change their name to, of course, Lucifer's Friend, and in November would release their debut album under the Lucifer's Friend name, which right now you probably would see this the artwork for the Lucifer's Friend album right now, I probably believe, which is definitely something. So technically, the Lucifer's Friend album can almost be seen as the second Asterix album, or the Asterix album right here would actually be seen as the first Lucifer's Friend album, which is if you want to look at that way. So, Asterix. Before definitely should go in that they were formed in 1968, and prior to releasing the full-length album here, they actually had released a 7-inch, which was titled Everybody, and on the B-side, If I Could Fly. Now this one, there is a slight, I should definitely briefly talk about a little bit of a lineup difference here. The singer is different on the single here for Everybody and If I Could Fly. The singer is actually a person named George Monroe, or here on the CD back cover here, George Marvus, who of course again performed the vocals for this 7-inch only. He only appeared on this 7-inch, and after this, he was quickly was replaced not by just one singer, but 2 singers. So on the actual self-titled full-length album here, actually features 2 singers. One being a Tony Cavanagh, and the other being none other than John Lawton, which I'll get to more briefly details after I probably go through at least picking out some of the songs off of this one. It's something though that I definitely kind of talk about more and more in here, is how this is probably the only album normally there are many bands at least that were known for having 2 different singers, but it was only from at least either the guitar player or your bass player. So, similar with what the Beatles did, but never really have ever heard a hard rock album where you just had 2 vocalists. I mean, literally, just 2 singers. Not just your guitar player who's providing vocals for some of the other songs on the album or even duets with them, but actual two singers, not just guitar players, bass players, drum players, just fucking two singers, which is something that is almost unusual for the hard rock genre, and so it kind of makes this album pretty unique. In many ways, it's fucking unique in that many aspects, but it really adds a different dynamic to this album. The opening track, of course, Lookout, is a great hard rocker and a great way to open up the fucking album. And of course, Gone From My Life is another great, decent rocker here too. Broken Home is a little more slower here, but it still has a very hard rockin' riff to it. It still has a cool vibe to it. I mean, I definitely make a lot of comparisons to somebody like Budgie, or again, for an example, Uriah Heep, or Deep Purple, or even at times a little bit of Led Zeppelin here and there. I mean, I could definitely make a lot of comparisons to them, or even Bang in some aspects, or Sir Lord Baltimore, or Captain Beyond. I mean, this album definitely kind of falls within that category of just great 70s hard rock, and it's definitely just great stuff, and just great stuff. Time Again is a little more of a slower track, though still pretty cool in its own right. A little more melodic, very keyboard laced, but still has a very decent rockin' vibe to it. Jump Into My Action is definitely more classic or straight up heavy rock. This is what gives you the idea of what you're gonna kind of hear with the first Lucifer's Friend album. This is really, you get the really good taste of what you're gonna get. This is a heavy fucking riff here. This, I wouldn't say it's almost on the level of Ride to the Sky. But it still has a very heavy fucking riff to it. It's definitely a great track. One of my personal favorites on here, along with also other songs like Open Up Your Mind and Corner Streaker, which Corner Streaker has a heavy fucking dirgy riff to it. It's a damn good fucking song off this album. Same also goes for us like Changing You. Another fine, decent rocker here too. Though this one, I think, has a little bit more of a Led Zeppelin feel going on. But it still is a fine rocker. Morning at My Dawn is actually more proggy. This definitely has more progressive influences here going on. But it still is a very well-constructed song. And then towards the end, it definitely builds to a real, epic rockin' end to it. It's definitely a great way to end the whole entire album. So this is definitely a great listen from start to finish. After this album was released, they actually would let go of Tony Kavanagh and keep John Lawton, and from there they changed their name to Lucifer's Friend, and again, history then. Of course, after that, with the rise of Lucifer's Friend, I think from there on, John Lawton would then leave for a little while, Lucifer's Friend, and would then join Uriah Heep for a while and sing on albums such as, for an example, Innocent Victim, and I believe also maybe Fallen Angel, if I'm correct. But still, he would definitely have a decent career. And of course, they still go on. Them as Lucifer's Friend, they still are still together. And was it last year they released an album? And so far, it released the same of the original guys that were in both Asterix and Lucifer's Friend. So it's really just something how guitar player Peter Heslin. Heislin, whatever, I think I might have just butchered his last name there. He's still kicking out heavy rockin' jams, I guess. I haven't even heard the last fucking Lucifer's Friend album, but it seems to, I guess, has a decent rating on Metal Archives if I last checked. It seems they still seem to kick out some heavy rock jams. Both Uriah Heep and Lucifer's Friend are still kicking it to these days, and again, Lucifer's Friend being definitely one of the earliest German rock bands, along with Scorpions, and so on. But this is where it began here. It began with the first Asterix album. It all started here for Lucifer's Friend, and this is a great album. If you are a fan of the first Lucifer's Friend album, or even the second album, or even other albums like Mean Machine from them, and also like Uriah Heep and dig John Lawton's vocals, This is a great album to really explore. This is a great album to search out for if you're not familiar with this. This is a great album, and if you like also other hard rock bands such as Budgie and again and Deep Purple and just Sir Lord Baltimore or Bang, and Captain Beyond, this is a perfect album to check out. I do not see you not liking this album. I can't see anyone that are fans of just straight up 70s hard rock not liking this album. This is a great, solid album, and it's a great, humble debut for Lucifer's friend in many ways. I mean, of course, it's not under that name, but like I've stated throughout, this is where everything began for them, and it's, again, just great, humble beginnings, and I just can't see anybody, fans of them, not digging this album. This is definitely a great rock album. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. This is Every Thrash as Sam out. And I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.